Hello viewers, welcome to our YouTube channel. For those who are joining us for the first time, this is Inovia Goat Farm. We are a mixed animal farm that is located in northern part of Uganda. We mainly concentrate on goat farming, and we will mainly share information concerning goat farming on this channel. So for those that are interested on the subject, please consider subscribing, consider dropping us likes, and consider dropping comments. Feel free to ask any questions that you have in the comment section. So today we would like to discuss how we started our goat farm. A viewer asked us via phone to discuss with him how we started our farm, what it costed us, the timeline it took us to start it. So today we want to share it with you. So sit down and relax, grab a pen, grab a book, and you can note down whatever you want, whatever you find useful. So we started our farm in September 2022. That's when the construction of the goat pen began, and the construction of the goat pen took us about 2 weeks for it to get complete. And our goat pen currently can accommodate up to around 350, basing on the calculation that was given to us by the expert in the construction of the pen. We opted for a raised goat pen because of the advantage it carries, especially in disease control, the disease management, and also the general welfare it gives the animals. So once the construction was done in September, we began looking for a herdsman, someone would be able to take care of the farm. Once we identified him, we took him to the farm before even we stocked the animals, for him to get familiar with the environment. Once he got familiar with the environment, it gave us time to identify the type of goats we wanted to put at the farm. So we visited different farms in the area, different homesteads. We were advised against stocking from the market. When you go to the general market, most people will take their goats there or take their animals there. They are in different categories. There are those who take generally because they have problems, because they want to get money and solve their immediate problems. And there are those who take the animals there because the animals have issues and they want to dispose it off before those issues multiply to bigger issues. So it's advisable to stock from other farmers, and it's advisable to also stock from the neighboring areas or from homesteads instead of going to the market, because you don't know the real reason why those animals were taken to the market. So we visited the different farmers, and we chose the animals that we wanted to start with. Our pockets couldn't allow us to start with around 30 at that time, but our plan was to increase the number after a few months, to start small with the 30, get the herdsman used to his job, and we also gain experience from the small number, correct the mistakes we would make from the small number. It reduced our risks as well, because if you have very big numbers at a go, you may fail to manage the different risks or solve the different problems and end up losing your entire stock. So we opted for the 30 female goats, and then we got one buck, and the buck was a savannah of about 75%. We got the buck when the buck was around 7 months old, and we got that as well from a different farmer. Most of these animals were stocked from different farms. We wouldn't want the buck to come in when it's probably it has a sibling in the female stock. So we decided to get from different places. So in October, once we stocked these animals, and then The herdsman started doing his job. We have a farm manager that visits the farm every week. So he would go, but our farm manager also doubles as our vet on the ground. Much as we get help from the district vet and other experienced vets, but we have our own vet on the ground. We had the privilege of getting somebody that is qualified in the field, and made him as well our farm manager. So he would visit every week. We had challenges in the beginning, and the challenges are not small because the number one was our goat pen. The floor started breaking because we used the weak timber, and some animals got miscarriage because we didn't know that some of them that we stocked were pregnant. But some of these challenges we kept on solving them, and once in a while we would get issues because our herdsman failed to spray on time, or he would tell us he has sprayed when he hasn't, and then you find that animals are getting sick. So all these challenges came in the beginning stages, and we identified all these problems and rectified them and got solutions to them. And so basically we started our goat farm during that period, and within that period we are now clocking a year. We have about a month to clock a year. We have had the privilege of having new kids on the premises. We have had the privilege of I wouldn't call it a privilege, but we have had the experience of having various diseases, and some of these we have now known how they affect the goats. And when a goat is not okay, we have identified some of them basing on different techniques. Like, for example, when you find the hair on your goat is not standing, it's not smooth, it has a way, I don't know how to describe it in a proper way, but you can identify a sick goat or an unhappy goat or a goat that has an issue from the hair. So during this period we kept on observing, learning. So our advice would be that you start small and go slow and build a system before you can now bring in the different or the huge stock that you're looking at, because at the end of the day it may not be you who is taking care of these things. You are going to employ people, and some of these people some of them don't have experiences. If you get the privilege of getting someone who worked on a goat farm before, ask yourself why the person left that place. Probably he was just because of his behavior. So you may find yourself starting with a fresh person and having to train them from scratch, and it's not easy, especially it's not a good gamble with very expensive goats. So you've gone in for the expensive stock and then you lose everything at once. It will not be good. So we started with the local ones and some crossbreeds, and after making a year, our plan is now to go on full on and bring in the Boers and the Savannas, and at least now aim for those that are about 90% and above. But the question was how we started ours, and how does it take for someone to start the farm. So the first thing is identify the size of land that you have, because in goat farming you cannot dodge it. You need land, you need land, you need land. So we had 60 acres. We identified our size, so you also identify yours. Why does the size matter? Because the size will help you determine whether you're going in for zero grazing or you're going in for free range. So if you have a small piece, you have no choice but to go for zero grazing, especially when you are looking at big numbers. For us, we went in for free range because, mathematically speaking, basing on the information we have from different other farmers and research, you can only take care of about a maximum of 15 goats per acre. 15 goats per acre, your goats will be eating well, they will be satisfied, and all that you need to put in mind. So 15 goats per acre, so you can look at your size and calculate that. That will give you a picture basing on your target, basing on the number of animals you want to keep. So we identified our land. Once we identified our land, we now had to think and be like, how about the shelter? First of all, for our goats, what type of shelter do we want to go for? What are the advantages of having these shelters? We opted to go for the raised goat shelter because once it's raised, it's easier for you to manage certain diseases. The problems we told you in the beginning, that sometimes our herdsman would not spray the goats and tell us he has sprayed them. Or sometimes he would not clean the house, he would only clean them when he knows that the farm manager is going around. If that was on a non-raised shelter, we would have bigger issues than we had. So the raised shelter normally gives you bigger advantages over the non-raised. So we chose the raised shelter, and the location of your shelter also is important. The location of your goat pen on the land is also very important. We identified a good location on our land, and it was a slanty kind of location. Next to it there was an ant hill for our goats to play around, and it had also some shade somewhere for the goats. Sometimes when they are after eating, they will need somewhere to rest, to sit under the shade and enjoy a peaceful evening before they go back into the house. So you need to identify an area that can accommodate the shelter, the playground, and also not far away from your shelter you will need to have the shelter and your goat pen. Of course, not far away from your goat pen, you will need to have a house for the herdsman, a house or houses for your workers. And on top of the house, apart from having the house for them, you also need to give them some facilities like toilets as well, and some of these are important. So you need to identify a good place that can plan for all these other things, not very far away from each other. So after constructing your shelter, basing on your pocket, basing on what you decide to go for, you now have to look at the stock and all these things. Of course, going in for the stocking, you will need to know how much do I have. An average price for a goat, a good goat, a local goat, is around 150,000 Ugandan shillings. If you want to start with 30 goats, you need to have a minimum of 4,500,000 Ugandan shillings. If you want to start with 100 goats, you need to have around 10 million Ugandan shillings. So the price of the goats, the number of the goats, all these things are entangled together. So you need to know how much you want to start with. How many goats you want to start with and how much do you have. So why we started with 30 goats is because goats give birth twice a year, especially when they're on free range like ours are. We are assuming that each goat is giving birth to one goat, to one kid, much as some of them give birth to twins, triplets, or even sometimes 4. But we are looking at when factors are constant, they give birth to 1. And in a year, they will give birth twice. So meaning each of our 30 goats, each of them will give us 2 kids in a year. That makes 2 times the 30 nannies times the 30 females that we have, those are 60 goats in a year. So once I have 60 goats from these 30, I am going to identify from their offsprings at the end of the year, from their offsprings, which one can join the mother stock and which one cannot join the mother stock during the weaning process. So from the 30, I am going to identify and add probably more 20 from the ones that are given birth to, and I will have my 50 mother stock. And then I can now go, after a year, I can now go to the market to my fellow farmers that have better breed than me, and now come in with the better Boer breeds, with the better Savannah breeds that I need. So I started small, started with the locals and a few crosses, and I am now planning to go in for my second generation. That is after a year. So my plan, within 2 years' time, I will have hit the goal that I plan to have around 300 goats on my farm. Because at the moment, with my 30 goats, I am clocking 150 goats. Yes, I added a few more during the course of time after 5 months or so, but I am clocking 150. So I started with what I had, and when some other money showed up, I increased. But the kids that have been born at my farm, at the moment, we have received about 74 new kids in a period of 1 year. So it is possible. It is very possible. You can go into it and you can succeed. But the most important thing is have the right information, have the right plan. Don't rush. There is nothing like immediate success. You're going to have to learn and get your own experience first. Other people have had their experiences. The only thing you can benefit from that is information, such that when you encounter such problems, you already had the information, so you can easily manage it. But each experience can be different, so you need to make sure that you go slow. You need to make sure that you plan through every stage. You need to make sure that you have the right information before you get into it. If we had gotten into it before having information, the challenges that we faced in the beginning could have been disastrous. We couldn't have managed it, but the information we had got from other people helped us a lot. So stay tuned for other information to come. We thank you so much for watching until this stage. Continue to support us, and you consider subscribing, consider liking, consider dropping comments. Our telephone number will be available in the description section. We are here to serve you. We are here to hear from you. We are here to get information from you as well. Goat farming is very profitable. Tell a friend about it. Go into it yourself.